Okay, now we're going to continue. The next problem is to find the perimeter of this rectangle. And we know that perimeter means that we're going to add all four sides. So we need to probably go ahead and label the other two sides just to make sure we don't forget them. So that means that if we add all four sides, we have x minus 4 plus x, that's this side and then this side, and then plus x minus 4 for the third side, plus x for the fourth side. And now we're just going to combine our like terms. We have 4 x's, so that's 4x. And then we have a negative 4 here and a negative 4 here, which makes minus 8. So that's our answer. Okay, number 8. University Law School accepts 2 out of every 7 applicants. If the school accepted 180 students, find out how many applicants there were. So we want to set up a proportion. We have the number of accepted students over the number of applied. So when we start out, it says they accept 2 out of every 7 applicants. So that means the left side of our proportion is going to be 2 over 7. The next step says if the school accepted 180 students, our number accepted goes on the top, so 180 goes on the top, and we want to know how many applications they received. So that means that the bottom is going to be x. Now this is a proportion, so to solve it, we do 2 times x, which gives us 2x, equals 7 times 180, which gives us 1260. And then we're going to divide both sides by 2. And we're going to end up with x equals 630. And that's applications. Okay, so now we're on to the next one. We have a gallon of paint that covers 350 square feet. And we want to know how many gallons will be needed to cover the side of a building that measures 120 by 80 feet. Now, this has a couple of steps. We have the side of the building that measures 120 by 80. Sides of buildings are rectangular, basically. So we have 120 feet by 80 feet. And then we also need to know how much paint. So the first thing we have to do, since it says that we cover 350 square feet tells us that we're looking for area. So area of a rectangle is length times width. So the area of this particular rectangle is 120 feet times 80 feet. And that ends up giving us 960 square feet. Now, that's the first step. The second step, again, we're looking for how many gallons. So we know 1 gallon covers 350 square feet. And we know our building side is 960 square feet. And we want to know how many gallons, so that's our x, will cover that side of the building. So we're going to cross multiply. I'm going to move this up just a little bit. 1 times 960. Multiply that, we get 960 equals 350 times x. So we divide both sides by 350, and we get x equals a decimal. It ends up being 2 and some part. X ends up being 2.74 gallons. Now we know that we can't buy part of a gallon of paint, so that means we will need 3 gallons of paint, because we always round up when it comes to things like paint or fertilizer or whatever, because we can't buy a partial bag, and if we buy less, then we don't have enough. So that gives us 3 gallons of paint that we need to paint the side of the building. Okay, on to the next one. We have the standard dose of medicine for a cat is 2 grams for every 15 pounds of body weight. What is the standard dose for a cat that weighs 20 pounds? So we have 2 grams for every 15 pounds. So that's 2 grams over 15 pounds. And now the other side has to be grams over pounds as well. So we want to know the standard dose, that's the number of grams, for a cat that weighs 20 pounds. So that means we're going to have 20 pounds underneath, and we're going to have an X on top. So we multiply 2 times 20, which gives us 40, and that equals 15 times X. And then we're going to divide both sides by 15. And 40 divided by 15 is not a very nice number, so we're going to just reduce 40/15. So we're going to reduce 40/15. Both of those are divisible by 5. So 40 over 15 is 8 over 3. So X is equal to 8/3 grams. Now in all likelihood you will see that, or you would see 2 2/3 grams for your answer. Generally they don't use decimals when it's exact like that. Okay, so number 11 is the last one for this video. Find the length of the missing side of this right triangle. When we're ever told to find the length of the missing side, it means we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Our c is always the side opposite the right angle, so we put x in for c, and then a and b, it doesn't matter, so we're just going to use 36 for a and 45 for b. So 36 squared plus 45 squared. Those are really big numbers, so definitely use a calculator. 36 squared is 1,296. And 45 squared is 2,025. And the sum of those is equal to x squared. And that's 3,321 equals x squared. Now in order to find out what x is, we have to take the square root of both sides. So x is actually equal to the square root of 3,321. Now when we take the square root of 3,321, we get the approximate answer of 57.628. Now I wrote extra numbers because we were told to round to the nearest tenth. So that means we're rounding this first decimal digit. So we look to the right and it's a 2. So that means our x is 57 0.6 centimeters because that's rounded to the nearest tenth in our decimal.